All right. So tonight we have a Q&A session. And now if you all have any questions later on, because tonight also we do not have many questions, only about 2 or 3 questions. And if you have any questions, you can type it down on the chat session or in the maybe in the comments in the Facebook there. So we'll see. If you have also any verbal questions also, then you can, if you want to ask, then you kind of like press the raise button, raise arm hand, if you know where to find them. Okay, now say we go for the first questions. First question. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, good evening, Bante. Yesterday, I took part in the Metta Meditation online retreat. First, I developed Metta for myself, and the second, for the respected ones, namely my teachers. Is it okay to radiate Metta for male teachers? Number 2, I meditate on Metta gradually like chanting. Is that okay? And can my teachers feel the Metta from me? The word me here, I put in bracket because in the question, there was no me there. It's just only you stop from the from, So I guess that is from the word me, if I read the question correctly. All right, let's go to number 1. So it's good that you took part in the online meditation retreat. Now, in the online meditation retreat nowadays, of course, if you want to do the online meditation retreat, you've got to be disciplined enough. Disciplined enough in the sense that you have to keep all your other commitments, all other responsibility, even your work or your career, you have to put aside for a while. Even the household responsibility, if you can able to put it aside, that would be very good for you to do any form of online retreat. But if you're doing meditation online retreat at home, then of course when you are at home, you are physically seen by other members of your family. Then if they see you, that means that the expectation is there whether you are doing online retreat or not. They don't care. They just sort of like you are there, means that kind of like you have certain responsibility, unless your family members are very deep into meditation also, then only they able to sort of realize. But even when you are doing online meditation retreat, when you are at home, somehow or another you feel responsible that you need to do something for the family or for this or that, So that's why online meditation retreat, although it's better than nothing, but it will not be fully effective like in the actual retreat. But now, in the meantime, what can we do? Then we can do online retreat somehow, one way or another. Okay, or listen to Dhamma talks, or do a bit of dana here and there. All right. So you're doing a Metta meditation retreat. First, I developed Metta for myself, and the second for the respected ones. Okay, good, wonderful. Namely, my teachers. Is it okay to radiate Metta for male teachers? Now, it's not a problem. It's not a problem that it's not no problem at all when you radiate to somebody that you have a certain degree of respect. When you have that degree of the degree of respect, whether it's a male teacher or a female teacher, then when there's a certain degree of veneration, respect, then it's very good, because that respect or veneration, it becomes the forefront. you radiate metta because of they have that certain quality. You remember of their certain quality, which is you find that it's wholesome to you. You find that it is connected to you through Dhamma or through any form of worldly ways. And then when you radiate the metta to them or to the male teachers or female teachers, even in this case, then it's perfectly all right. It's perfectly all right. And it's good that if you can able to radiate the metta and you can able to sustain the metta towards the teacher that you having that degree of respect, then it's perfectly all right. Yeah? Because this time as I said, the veneration, the homage, the respect is the forefront of your radiating your metta or suffusing the metta. Now, what is not okay is that if you have certain degree of sensual desire to a male person, it may be a husband or may it be a boyfriend or anything, a partner, those it is not good to start in the beginning. It's not good to start in the beginning because that the front right now is the person that you have a certain desire towards. And then when you have that certain desire towards the person, if you put it in the beginning of your practice, then instead of metta arises, then it will arises the near enemy of metta, which is the sensual desire or which is the lust. So we don't encourage yogis metta, especially when you do metta or even karuna or mudita. We don't encourage you to do male person which you have a relationship to, or even you have a close connected to, even sometimes maybe like even like parents also. Sometimes there are some children and parents, they have a very strong, deep relationship. And then when we do a metta for them or karuna for them, then instead of having this metta or loving kindness or compassion, then it may turn into again that you become like sad for them. If it's the case of compassion, you look at them, oh, they're getting old, oh, they have this sickness and so on. Then because of your attachment towards them, then instead of you generate the compassion that may they be free from all their suffering, then instead of wishing them free from all the suffering, then it turns into sadness. It turns into grief, and that is not compassion anymore. That is corruption. That is the near enemy of compassion or karuna. So, because of why? Because as the front there is there is a sensual connection towards them. So if those people that you have a sensual connection to, then it is not advisable for you to start off with those metta or karuna or mudita, because of the attachment arises after that. So for the male teachers, as I said, they are, again here, they are, because the front there is the respect, is the veneration, is the homage, then it's not the sensual desire, then it is perfectly all right. But the metta, later on when you advance the metta towards into a deeper aspect of the metta, then if your metta is much more continuous, stable, and it's not affected by the hindrances, that means your metta is strong, it's clear, and then that time you have to generate the metta towards even for the person that you dislike or you hate, and also towards the person that you have attached or connection to, even like your husband or your partner or even your parents or children or whoever they are. You have to finally have to generate to all of them. Then when you generate the metta to all of them, that metta also is the similar strength like when you generate to your teachers or generate to not towards this group of people or like hate that people that you hate or people have an attachment to, if the later on when your metta is strong, as I said, this group of people must able to generate the same amount of metta, the same strength of the metta, as if like when you do it for your teachers also. That means right now, when you can able to do that, then only then the metta is in a way unconditioned. It's a way unconditioned. Then you have to, not only that, you have to generate to all beings and so on. So metta finally has to be unconditioned. It has to be perfectly well developed, well rounded. So this is something that we have to remember, because here, as I said, the male teachers, then it is possible for us to do that. Okay. Now, I meditate on metta gradually, like chanting. Is that okay? Not a problem. If you want to do it like chanting or as if or chanting itself, then here you must able to mean or you must able to understand what you've been chanting, and also you must truly mean it. Sometimes people understand the meaning of the chanting in, let's say, in English, but they don't really mean it. The heart doesn't really touch the words, or the words doesn't really touch the heart. So you must able, as long as you can able, your heart can able to touch the words or the words can touch your heart, whichever way, then it is perfectly all right for the metta to grow. Here in the chanting, if you are doing a chanting, then sometimes the chanting can be quite long. In the beginning part of the development of metta, if you do the chanting, then it's perfectly all right. Whichever chanting or whichever metta chanting that you want to do, it's perfectly all right. Here, the nature of the chanting also to help us in the beginning part is to help us to pull the mind back to the present. Present here is the chanting. So the mind does not go into all kinds of thinking, which is important. Now, when we do this chanting, we mean it and we understand it and we have faith in it. Therefore, the heart of metta will slowly grow. And it will slowly grow little bit by little bit. But when your metta can able to grow further, then you have to reduce the chanting. You reduce the chanting, or you reduce those chanting into a certain line in order for the mind, for the metta to flow further. If you drag on too long because it's a chanting, you need to finish the chanting, then your mind, you you have to force yourself just to finish that chanting. Then that time you're going to shake the metta. You're going to stop radiating the metta because of the mind wants to finish that chanting. So if you find that later on with the chanting, then if you want to reduce it, then it's perfectly all right, until slowly and slowly your mind becomes calm down, and then the metta can flow further and further. You see, in the development of this metta, it's about from more complex words that you use, then finally it's become more simple and simple and simple. And right at that moment, you can actually also reduce and remove all those words. Only the metta is flowing only. Only the metta is truly flowing from your heart to whoever or whomever or whichever group that you are connected to or you are radiating to. You see, those chanting and the words that we use, it's like when you're doing, just like when you're doing vipassana, it's just those words chanting are labeling only. It's a kind of labeling that finally is to bring about the nature of metta. So just like vipassana also, when your mind is much more sharper, things you can able to note better, then we ask you to stop the labeling and keep on noting. So to the metta also the same thing, that when your metta able to flow further, then those words that you said, may I be free from harm and danger, or may they be free from harm and danger, or may he or may she be free from harm and danger, you slowly and remove them until you can feel that your heart is able to flow. Now, if you find that your heart cannot flow, after a flow for a while, then hindrances starts coming in. Then again, we bring back the lines again, or those lines again to help us to settle the mind onto the metta. Then we do it again and again, to and fro in this way, until the mind able to settle down onto the metta for a longer and longer period of time. During this time, this is what we call the learning sign, because in metta, they don't have a counterpart sign like what we learned in the past. They don't have a counterpart sign. Then with that, as the hindrances getting removed, the metta becomes flow very smoothly. You train on those things until when you're ready for the jhana. So you can do those things. So back to your question again. So can you do the metta gradually like chanting? Yes, perfectly all right. As long as it does not disturb your mind too much, and also the metta can flow further. Okay? The thing is, the next question on number 2 is that, and can my teachers feel the metta from me? Now, this one is not necessary for you to worry about whether they can feel the metta from you or not. Because this is one of the things that we don't realize that we are putting an expectation in metta. We are putting a certain degree of expectation in metta. Because there are times I've heard in the past, even I read also, then when it says that, when that monk do metta, or if you sit beside him, you can feel so nice, the vibes. Very good. That means that you already, whether it's you are doing, or whether the person is the monk or whoever the person is doing, then you kind of like you're expecting something is happening from the metta. You're expecting something happening from the metta without us realizing it. So here the thing is that you don't worry about whether the teachers or whether the beings can feel your metta or not. That is not for you to worry about that. If they can feel, let them be. If they cannot feel, let them be also. If you don't have to feel about those things. Sometimes in the past also, it says that, oh, if the group of people do the metta here, and then halfway around the world, let's say in US, they want to touch upon the beings just to free them from the whatever suffering that they are going through and so on. We wish them well, we wish them all kinds of everything. But again, here you must not put an expectation into it. If you put an expectation into it, that means that expectation is another name for craving. But this is not a sensual craving, sensual desire, but this is a mental craving which is not connected with desire. You expect a metta to do something, to happen. Now, if you ask me whether it is wrong or not, I can't say that it is wrong, but I cannot say that it is right. Because after all, you're doing metta too, And in a way, the metta, it's wonderful, but because it's tainted with a little bit of craving, then that also we have to acknowledge. That also we have to, point it out there. Because a lot of times we don't realize that these things, it's happening inside us. Now take for example again, sometimes I hear of people, you go into like monks or nuns, they go into jungle, then they walk around and then they say, may all beings be free from harm and danger. Be free from harm and danger. May all beings here, may all beings, what I'm going to do here, be free from all kinds of danger. But inside their heart, the expectation is that they put an expectation is that those beings, please don't come and disturb me. Don't come and bite me. The insect, make sure you don't come and bite me. The leeches don't come and everything. Don't. Or sometimes when you do go to a hotel, also the same thing. You go to a hotel room, then also you radiate metta around here and all that. May all of you be well and happy. Stay in your dimension. Don't come out and kacau me and disturb me during my sleep. Don't pull my leg or whatever. Of course, you may not say all those things out, but your heart, the front is only that you say that may all beings be well and happy around here, but your heart is, you have certain expectation that you don't want all these things to come and disturb you. So it's the same thing. Here, when we radiate metta, we have to be really genuine. We have to be really genuine that we want to share the metta. Even if, let's say, when you go into a certain places or you go into a jungle, then when you radiate metta to them, of course, if there are certain beings, if they can able to feel your metta, and if they feel that you are not a threat to them, and somehow or another, sometimes they may protect you in their own way. They may protect you. But on your end, on your side, you don't radiate metta just because you want their protection, That is two different things. You can get what I mean? It is two different things, and it is important for us to know how to draw the line. Because this is an exercise of wisdom. Not just metta, but you have to exercise the wisdom in the sense that you must be able to draw the line that when you radiate metta or karuna, you don't expect something from them. You radiate metta for the sake of, because it is wholesome, because you want to do it, then you radiate metta. Because sometimes I hear other teachers teaching. They realize teacher think if you go into this one, you radiate metta, you hopefully that they don't come and disturb you and so on and so forth. You put a lot of expectation, and when the teachers put this expectation to the devotees, devotees cannot differentiate between what is wholesome and what is slightly unwholesome. And you cannot differentiate those things. Then every now and then, when you do this metta, whenever you go to a place when you are feel that, then when you radiate this metta, you expect something. Actually, if you are genuine enough in your metta, let's say you go to a place and you feel certain degree of fear. You feel certain degree of fear. Then when you radiate the metta, if you are genuine enough, the metta is the one that is overcoming the fear, not overcoming whatever beings out there. Sometimes people grab the wrong end of the defilements. They thought that you want to get rid of the beings around you, then you are happy. It's not that. It's that the metta is the one that is overcome the fear. Then when the fear is gone, or you felt that the mental fear is gone, that is where your mind is filled with metta, whether the being is there or not now. Whether the being is right in front of you or not in front of you, that is not a problem anymore, because the fear is gone. So because, again, many of us, when we radiate metta, we try to get rid of the external things so that they don't come and harm us, and so on. Yeah? Like sometimes when you go into this one in the jungle, then you may find that there may be leeches coming over to you, and there are insects biting you. And sometimes devotees, out of ignorance, if they see that these people, you see, they are all bitten by this insect and that insect, and you see this group, another person, it is not bitten by this insect, then you already make the judgment already. That group, that people, not enough metta. That one, more metta. Then because of more metta, then the insect don't come. We already make those judgments already. We already make those judgments because that we already put an expectation of what metta will going to happen if we have that. We do that without realizing it. Without realizing it, and that is not right for us to do. That's why when you ask this question, it is good because I can bring out this area out, because we don't see this point, this area here. We always see that what the metta will do to protect us, to give us well-being, and so on, indirectly, without we realizing it. So next time, when you are in the jungle or when you are in the places that is, you find that there is some fear and so on, then if let's say you are in the jungle and then there are leeches bite you, and there are insects bite you, or the leeches suck your blood and so on, and some of you are so fearful of these little leeches and this little crawling around here and there, so small little thing, but your fear is so big. Some people, every now and then I also see the snake, and that they walk, suddenly the snake come out. I jump, the snake also jump, but immediately my fear all gone. No fear. But doesn't mean that I go near to the snake and then start patting on the back. Not like that. We stay a distance away. You stay a distance away. Keep the mind stable. Keep the mind free from all the fear, and then generate metta, or be mindful, be present, be equanimous. Let the snake or whatever cross first. And then after that, we carry on without the fear. After that, a few more steps, I forgot about the snake already. So you see, the thing is that if you are affected by all these insects or leeches or beings and so on, if they still bite you or they still do something onto you, then your mind should able to adapt to the situation. If they bite you, they still bite you, then you keep your mind steady. You keep your mind clear. You keep your mind open. You do whatever, you have to put whatever medicine, you have to put whatever, but you do it with mindfulness. You do it with stability of the mind. Then that will be very good for you. Then you adapt according to the situation. Not just as metta, and then hopefully metta will protect you and so on. So this is something that I want to point it out, because this expectation, it's a very subtle expectation. It's a very subtle expectation. Then we don't realize that sometimes we are generating these things. So this is what we can talk about. But of course, in the sutta, when the Buddha able to generate the metta and so on, that one is beyond our level. It is said that the Nalagiri, the drunken elephant, judged on the Buddha, and then the Buddha radiated the metta to, and this is a completely different level. The Buddha has did is the Buddha's level. Then we want to compare our level to the Buddha sometimes. We want to compare, we generate this metta, then all this elephant and all this insect and all these animals won't come and harm us. We are not at that level. That is the Buddha's level. But if your metta is genuine enough, then there are certain protection for you, because they felt that you are not a threat. The beings felt that you are not a threat, or the unseen beings felt that you are not a threat to this place. Because if you're able to generate this metta, and then when you reach to those areas, then they find that they are happy. And they find that they are happy when you are around. And because they are happy when you are around, then in a way, they protect you from harm. Okay? So you have to be genuine. So here, can my teachers feel the metta from me? So don't worry about these things. If they can feel, they can feel. They cannot feel, does not matter at all. Okay? This is the question one. Next question. Next question. All right. Can Bhante advise how to make a wish so it becomes our habitual karma if we are unable to attain arahantship in this lifetime but want to reborn as a human monk so can continue practicing? Okay, this is from Sister Chia. All right. You want to become a monk in the next life? Sadhu to you, sadhu to you. But before we talk about we want to become a monk, let us talk about these few things first. A number of things I want to raise up. Okay, hold on. Let me put this. Let me put the video somewhere else. I want to see my. Can see, yeah? All right. So that our habitual karma, if we are unable to in this lifetime, you want to reborn as a human being. So what can you do? What can you do? You ask me things about in the future one. My answer is that I cannot be sure. I cannot be sure. Definitely I cannot be sure. This is not something that I can able to give you a, a proper answer. I can only give you I can only give you principle of it only. If the next life you want to become a human or a man, or you become a monk, or you want to continue practicing, there's a number of criteria that you are putting down in just one word, in just one sentence. It's not just a single criteria here. There's a number of criteria that we can break it down. But as I said that, although we can give you all this principle what we can do, but it's not a guarantee. Not a guarantee. That's firstly is that if you are not an enlightened one, then there's no guarantee. If you're not an enlightened one, that means you're a worldling. If you're a puthujjana, then definitely there's no guarantee. Now, as much as you are doing a lot of good deeds in this life, you've done the dana sila bhavana, generosity, you keep your precepts, you prevent unwholesome deeds, you perform a lot of wholesome deeds, you do some meditation and so on. But if you are not a puthujjana, then there's still chances that the past life unwholesomeness can still ripen and brings you to whatever unwholesome, unhappy destination, unhappy rebirth. This is one thing that's why I cannot give you a proper answer, because of we do not know how much of our unwholesomeness that is waiting for us to be ripened in this life and also in the future lives. Sometimes devotees, sometimes Buddhists, they forget about their past lives. They thought that just because they're human in this life, they do a lot of good deeds in this life, because they found the Dhamma and they do a lot of good deeds in this life. Yes, it is true, but you must remember that in our past life also, we have done incalculable unwholesome deeds, and they are all also waiting to be to ripen. Also, of course, in the past life also, you've done a lot of wholesome deeds also that will be ripened. And this life also, maybe also you have done a lot of some wholesome deeds, some unwholesome deeds, because you come into Dhamma or understanding of this maybe sometime later part of your life. In the earlier part of your life, perhaps you are not, and you're doing a lot of unwholesome deeds, perhaps. So again here, because you are puthujjana, because you are a worldling, then we have no guarantee answer for you. That is one of the problem. That is one of the big problem. But nevertheless, because of you able to do a very powerful, wholesome deeds in this life, powerful in the sense that there's a connection with the Sangha members who are a representative of those enlightened ones. Then when you can able to do dana for them, or you can able to meditate with them, and you can able to get some understanding from them and so on. When you have this type of people, then when you do this, when you perform your deeds in this way, then these merits are very, very powerful. And somehow with all kinds of like katina, dana, and this and that, all kinds of things that you can still able to straighten up your views and those things that what the Buddha taught. These are very powerful karma. And perhaps this type of powerful karma, you cannot get it from your past life. Because in the past life, you may not met the Buddha or the Buddha Sasana. And you may do some wholesome deeds, and also you may do a lot of unwholesome deeds. But in this life, because of this strong, powerful karma, then sometimes because of that, it can help you to get a good rebirth because of that. But again, there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee because of our past life that we have done, when we really do not know. Just like Moggallana, Elder Moggallana, that because of his past life, he killed his parents. Then even in this life, although he's an Arahant, when he died miserably. People chop him up into pieces. It is mentioned. So there's no guarantee because of our unwholesome karma. Now, you want to become a human being, instead of Deva world and so on, which is much more enjoyable. Of course, we don't want to go into the woeful states. Woeful states, and once you enter there, as according to the Buddha, it's very difficult for us to come back into the happy realms of existence. But because that when we're in the happy realm of existence, we forget about wholesome deeds, we forget about the Dhamma, then we do all kinds of unwholesome, then we go down there again to suffer. So the thing is this: you want to reborn as a human being, and during that human being, you want to become a man. And when you become a man, there must be a sasana for you. And the sasana for you, you want to become a monk. And to become a monk, you want to attain arahantship. There's a lot of criteria. So to reborn as a human being, that just now earlier on, we have already covered a lot of wholesome deeds that you have, because of the wholesome deeds that we have done, which is good. Now, because of that wholesome deed that you have done, in a certain way, you can make an adhitthana, a strong adhitthana, or not just one strong, but I mean a continuous over time, that you can direct your mind that if you want to reborn in the human being's next life, then there is a good opportunity that you're going to be able to reborn there, because of the wholesome karma that you have done in this life. There's a possibility the mind is diverted for that particular rebirth. And it can, and in the suttas, it's been mentioned before, in the sutta, because of their wholesome deeds they have done in their life. That one you can do that. But when you're reborn as a human being also, you have to be reborn in the right family and also in the right location. If you're born in the wrong family, let's say you're reborn as a Muslim, or you're reborn as somewhere far away from the Dhamma, then although you have reborn as a human being, then you're reborn in a place where you don't able to find the Dhamma, or you're reborn in a family or in a family that is, they are not connected with the Dhamma, and then you may have a difficult time for you to go further in your Dhamma practice. So again, you're born in the proper family, you have to be able to reborn in a proper location, and then of course also there must be some degree of Dhamma around you. That also is important. Now, you want to reborn as a human being and as a man because you want to be a monk. Then when you want to reborn as a man, again here, in this lifetime, you must see a certain disadvantages of being a female. If I say this sometimes in the certain parts of the world, then it'll be you have a, I'm gonna have a problem. Because now the feminist issue are very strong, you know. But we have to look at it from the perspective of karma, the perspective of karma. Now, to reborn in the female body, it's a. Can you hear me right now? Okay, yeah, all right. As I said, that being a female, there's inherent suffering. Inherent suffering that you do not find in a man. And the inherent suffering, for example, like you have to go through menstrual cycle for 30 years or so. Then when there's a condition, then you have to go through giving birth. And those things are inherent suffering for a female. And that is because of that, then you cannot run away from it. You have to go through that, even no matter how rich you are, right? Or how powerful you are in this world in terms of power. And also other forms of suffering that a female that go through instead of a man, then this may not be inherent in the female body, but this is inherent in the society. And this is connected with conceit. And when there's conceit, there's always discrimination. And the front is discrimination, and female in all over the world is more discriminated compared to a man. Right? Now, female discriminated in many sense, in many ways. Like, for example, prostitution, then you got rape, and you got human slavery, and so on. Those type of things, women will feel more than a man. Now, if you look into history, if you look into history and so on, always female will go through a lot of more problem compared to compared to a man. So inherently, the female body, in a way, it is have more suffering than a man. Okay? Now, once you are reborn in a female body, if you were reborn as a female, then again you be conditioned to do things which is female. And more of it conditioned when you do things with female, and then when you have those tendency, then in the next life you also be reborn as a female. Because of the tendency, because you love, let's say you love the children, you love giving birth, maybe, you love the children, you love all kinds connected to beauty and everything, connected to a female. And then the next life, if you are reborn in a human being again, then that condition into a female. But in this life, if you're a female, then next life, if you want to reborn as a male, then you have to think not like a male, You have to think like reducing that, especially those things that's connected to beauty, sensual desire. And you have to see the disadvantage of being a female in that sense. That is to say, for example, that beauty and beauty and all things connected to what else? Raymond, you tell me now. How do I going to tell you? Those things that you find that you have a lot of attachment to. Things like your beauty, like family, like your responsibility, like nurturing and those type of things. When you are attached to those things, you have to look into it and reconsider them. And if you can able to reduce those type of desire, then in the next life, because of the tendency it begin to reduce, then to reborn as a man would be, the chances would be higher, much higher. Then because of the wholesome deeds that you have done, and therefore you reborn even in the better family, that means you reborn in a better location. So let's say you reborn as a human being and you reborn as a man. Then we cover that. Then the next thing, you must be able to reborn in a time that when the Dhamma is around. I couldn't say that whether in the next rebirth that you're going to go through, that whether you have the sasana will be around or not. The sasana here, whether you like it or not, is already dying. Over time, according to the commentaries, although there may be arahants around, but the quality of the arahants that is around, it doesn't come with, during the Buddha's time, it comes with like certain psychic, super normal powers that we discussed that before, And then after that, 1,000 years after the Buddha, it is said that there won't be a monk or arahant that comes with 4 analytical power. That is for Patisambhida. That one maybe we'll talk about when we come into wisdom, Then after 1,000 years, then you just have ordinary arahants, which don't have this power anymore according to that, according to the design. So even with the quality of arahant, that is the extra bonus that comes with the arahant, is also diminishing over time. Now we have 2,500, 2,600 over years. So sasana is already dying. Sasana is dying, whether you like it or you don't like it, or you want to see it or not. So therefore, when you come into the next rebirth, now whether you can able to find the sasana or not, that is, we are not sure. Because everything now is digitalized and so on. But sometimes our rebirth can be weird, You want to reborn in the next life. But sometimes you go through a detour. You go through a detour means that you go through reborn in the Deva world, Then we go to a Deva world. Hey, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm supposed to reborn in a human being, Hey, let's go back to a human being again. Let's say you turn one round. But while you are at the Deva world, even 1 day or 2 days, a few hundred years gone now. Then a few hundred years gone, you come back to the human being again. Finished. Sasana. Sasana all gone. Just you spend 1 or 2 days, you find that you got the wrong rebirth. Although it's a happy rebirth, but you want to reborn as a human being. But somehow or another, detour may take place, because of your wholesome merits or whatever. So again, when you find that when you reborn in a human world and then you found the Dhamma, which is very good. And then here, and if your mind must be able to incline to become a monk or a monk, for example here, you must be able to incline the monk towards a monk, because not many people wants to become a monk. Even during the Buddha's time also, there's also devotees, which is not monks. Even right now, we are not monks, because being a monk, you are cut off from many of the sensual desire. And that sensual desire are strong in all of us. We are attached to it. Although we want the Dhamma to be there, but we do not want to cut off all the sensual desire. We want to hold on to something. We want to hold on to what we think is still concrete, like for example, our family, our life, our financial wealth, our asset, our house, and this and that, our career and so on, We thought that those things are concrete. So we attach to those things. So your mind has to be very inclined into higher development, further development towards cutting off of all defilements. Then only you can able to stay in the monkhood and being a genuine monk. in order to cut off of all the defilements. So, and then after that, of course, you have to meditate like mad, like crazy, until arhanship can be attained. So it is not an easy wish that what you put over, what is not a single criteria. A lot to do. You have to make a lot of wholesome merits, a lot of wholesome merits, and you have to learn to cut off your slowly reduce your sensual desire, especially towards the things that are around you, your family life, your financial wealth, your people that this one. Not to say that you shrink your responsibility for in this life, It's just that you have to able to differentiate between responsibility and sensual desire. These two, they are all intermixed. But if you are wise enough, you can able to differentiate these two. Less sensual desire doesn't mean that you don't love the family. You just love the family in a different way only. And it's just much more better actually. Because when there's a sensual desire, there's always expectation or many expectations. So if you want to become a monk, you want to become a man, you want to be reborn as a human being, so this is what, perhaps these are the principle of things that what you can do. And as I said, just to remind you again, these are, nothing is for sure because we are not enlightened yet. We are not in the noble path, in the no Arya yet. So as I said, our past defilements, our past unwholesome karma that we have done, they still may able to ripen in this life. Okay? So that's it for tonight. Let me see what else do you have. Wait in the chat. Okay. I have a stronger inclination. Wait now. Okay. Let me put it here. Oops, sorry. It cannot copy. I want to copy the this one, but it cannot come out. Anyway, let me read. Bhante, I have a strong inclination towards Panya. I have very little interest in Metta and Karuna. Is this disadvantageous in my advancing my spiritual practice? Is it true that we must have wisdom and Karuna in equal proportion in order to achieve arahantship? All right. Now, here, it's already 10 o'clock. Since your question is a bit late, give me 5 minutes. Now, you have inclination towards Panya, but sometimes Panya, it's not the, there are different degree of Panya is there. A different degree of Panya is there. Usually most of the time, people incline towards the Panya of thinking and reflecting and, this type of Panya, which is also, I say, not wrong. But this type of Panya will not actually lead, it will actually be a condition, but it doesn't actually lead you to this one. But the type of wisdom that one should have, the actual wisdom is the direct knowledge into the mind and matter, nama rupa. And that's come with vipassana, especially with vipassana. We're going to talk about this panya in the coming week, and we're going to explain it in a different way. When we develop vipassana, which is the forefront of the vipassana is wisdom. It's not really mindfulness, but the forefront of vipassana is actually wisdom, because they are the one who penetrates into the true nature of things as they really are. But when you do that too much, sometimes your character becomes hardened. You're not flexible enough. in the sense that dealing with everyday life. You have become like, sometimes you become like mentally warped into yourself. And also, as I said, that this is not wrong, but it's just that it is your character is hard. When you want to deal with people, when you are not in a time when you are not meditating, you're going to have a hard time dealing with people, and people are going to have a hard time dealing with you because your level is at the panya level. Everybody's level is not there, So you are like there, but you are not down to earth. So it's hard for you to deal with people around you, so that you may be wise, but you do not know how to go through about the worldly life. How to this one, because everything is to you is intellectual. Everything to you is that your world is circulating around the mind, in your head. So sometimes we have too much of that, and when we don't have the soft part of the heart, like karuna and metta, then we find that we have a difficulty of talking or dealing with people. So you still need some degree of metta and karuna. Not to say that you have to have jhana and everything, but if you have some degree, that'll be wonderful. It makes your life balanced, because not all the time we are in the wisdom. Not all the time we are in the retreat or meditation. Even if you are a monk, but we are not there all the time. We have to deal with people as we go on in our life. We have to deal with people. So therefore, the Brahma Vihara will be important. It's not to say it be disadvantage to your spiritual life. It's not disadvantage, but spiritual life is also where we have to deal with devotees, we have to deal with monks, we have to deal with nuns, we have to deal with people. So in a way that it makes your life, everyday life, to become much more smoother in that sense. Now, is it true that we must have wisdom and karuna in equal proportion? No, it is not. It is not necessary. But wisdom is the key for enlightenment. Karuna, if you need karuna, if you, in a way, you want to teach others, you have to teach them with compassion, so that the Dhamma has to be spread, to spread the Dhamma. If you're a practitioner up in the hill, just alone, then perhaps wisdom also will suffice, But usually you can't stay in the alone for many years, unless there are a few people can do that, but not many people can do that. So you have to come out into the everyday world, and you have to deal with people. And when you deal with people, when you want to teach them and you want to share your Dhamma with them, you need to have some degree of compassion. But the nature of compassion and also karuna, there are advantages in our practice, because sometimes we need to soften the mind a little bit, because this panya, it can be very hard. While you are practicing, the mind is trying to penetrate. It can make the mind very hard, and then therefore in other times we need to soften the mind a little bit. Then karuna or metta also are helpful. That one we're going to cover about those things next week and the following week. We're going to cover on the area of metta, the area of wisdom, and how we can able to balance the wisdom too. All right, that is for this one. So that's it for tonight. It's already 10:07 already. Okay. All right, now we share merits.